With classes starting across the state, California School Superintendent Tony Thurmond is addressing some of the hurdles that many districts are facing.
He spoke to our political reporter, Greg Lee, about what the state is doing to try to help.
This is a time that's busy. We have a lot of work to do, but a time that is hopeful.
State Superintendent of Public Instruction Tony Thurmond sharing the nerves and excitement of many parents and students statewide. As a new school year kicks off, he acknowledges a number of challenges districts are facing, including worsening teacher shortages.
This has been a big challenge for our 1,000 school districts and our districts in the Bay Area. They have positions to fill.
The Department of Education is hosting a teacher recruitment summit next week. Thurmond also points to new state money for apprenticeship and training programs, as well as sponsoring bills for more educator housing and increasing pay for school staff.
What is driving some of these shortages, and how can we as a state do better to not only hire but retain qualified teachers?
So the trend of a teacher shortage is one that everyone's been tracking nationwide since before the pandemic. It grew during the pandemic. A lot of times, working conditions have been tough. The number one thing we can do to attract more teachers is pay teachers better.
Another focus, recovering from learning loss caused by the pandemic. The state's allocated nearly $8 billion for expanded learning, including before and after school programs. Thurmond said his focus is not only on the academic losses.
We've recruited the funds to recruit 10,000 mental health clinicians so we can address the social needs of our kids, the mental health needs of our students.
California's received billions of dollars in federal aid, the most of any state for districts' pandemic recovery. It must be spent by fall of 2024. Thurmond says they're on track.
We know that upwards of 90% of most districts have already spent that money. And in other cases, they may have identified how those dollars can be used.
May I have, as a point of order, as the board president...
Order, this is not your meeting. You may have a seat, because if I did that to you in Sacramento, you would not accept it.
Just weeks ago, Thurmond was kicked out of the Chino Valley Unified School Board meeting. He spoke against a policy requiring administrators inform parents if their child identifies as transgender. The board approved the policy, which is now being investigated by the state attorney general.
We care about local control. We care about balancing the rights of our parents. Parents have those rights, but we have to help keep our students safe as well.
We think he's a danger to our students. He continues to push things that pervert children, and he continues to push out parents and bring in policies to create division between families.
In the aftermath of the meeting, Board President Sonia Shaw said she received death threats. Thurmond said no one should ever receive threats for disagreements.
How do we lower the temperature when it comes to issues like this?
We need to do better in how we discuss all of these issues. We have to do so in a way that is civil. We can agree to disagree, but we don't have to be disagreeable.
As national conversations around book bans and inclusive curriculum continue, Thurmond said he's doubling down. He's sponsoring a state bill that would make it more difficult to ban a book in schools and fine districts that don't follow the guidelines. The framework was recently used to fine the Temecula Valley District over its rejection of a textbook that includes the late gay rights leader, Harvey Milk.
There are people who are attacking inclusive education. And what I want to really say to them and remind them is that inclusive education is a way to ensure that students do well.
Thurmond also recently launched a task force for inclusive education. Greg Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.